All right, all right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Letha Thornton, and I want to welcome you to CMP Radio's debut of Your Money Matters, a financial empowerment show. This show came about, it's been in the making for a minute, where the radio station is really seeking to reach the masses as it pertains to getting our money world right, moving the culture forward, creating generational wealth, trying to get some things going in our communities that we can leave some kind of legacy. So I can't thank you enough for tuning in for our first show. Tell you a little bit about me. I am a mom of three. I have three teenagers, and I have been on a crusade to help my community as it pertains to money and finance. As I'm along my own financial journey, just wanting to help other people to get their financial journey as well. So I've been doing some financial coaching and just sharing and getting to know the people. So I want to thank you for tuning in. We have a jam-packed show for you, so I'm not going to do too much talking. My first guest is a serial entrepreneur. He is an author. He is a philanthropist. He is a successful businessman, running several different businesses and being a champion for his people. Mr. Tauheed Burke, born in Baltimore, Maryland, graduated from Southwestern High School, played varsity basketball, earned some MVP titles. So you know that he was pretty good, right? Immediately following high school, Mr. Burke began a military career, right? Proved himself, got all kind of prestigious awards and medals and we he also joined the Navy basketball team, right? So while serving in the military, Mr. Tauheed Burke joined Primerica Financial Services and began working part-time. Got an honorable discharge and committed to doing Primerica full-time, earned his position as what we call a regional vice president, and continued to excel as a outstanding young man of America. He received that award for professional leadership. He is a huge philanthropist in his hometown of Baltimore, Maryland, and he'll tell you a little bit more about that. But he's opened construction companies, and just has continued to build, coach, and mentor other people to financial success. So I am beyond honored that he has agreed to do this show to share his financial wisdom and insight as we seek to create a mindset for 2023 that's talking about money, right? So we're in a new year, and this is the time for new habits, new strategies, all kinds of things. So I thought the show should start with getting into a money mindset, right? So that every show afterwards, you know how we're moving, what mindset that we need to have to be financially successful, right? So I don't know if you sick and tired of being sick and tired, you want to make some changes, but that's what this show aims to do. So without further ado, I will introduce Mr. Tauheed Burke. Are you in the building?
Hello,
All
hello,
right.
hello. Thank you so much. Can you hear me clear?
I can hear you perfectly clear. Thank you so much for being here, Tauheed. You could be sitting next to a millionaire and you don't even know it, because this is probably one of the most humble
Give me
gentlemen.
1 second, please. I can't hit. Give me 1 second.
You can't hear. Okay.
Give me
So
1 second, please.
I got you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
1 second here.
Hopefully he can get his sound together. But while I'm waiting for him, what I was saying is this is a gentleman you could be sitting in a room with a millionaire and not know it. He has a super humble spirit. Like I said, is a champion for his people, and just has a smooth exterior where he's willing to help everybody, but probably looks so daggone cool while he's doing it. So I'm super excited to have him here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Absolutely. I was just telling them you the type of brother sit down on the couch and you so smooth you might slide off of it. Right? But I'm super excited to have you here. I'm gonna let you kind of let it rip. Give us some insight as to your personal story and how you have become financially successful and how you motivate others. You're on social media, you are inspiring people, you are writing books, you are doing some amazing things in your community to empower young people and teach people to succeed anyway. So just give us a snippet of your personal story, if you don't mind.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to get on and actually be your first guest on your podcast. So I appreciate that. I want to thank everybody else that's tuning in. I want to talk a little bit about where I started. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, a place called Cherry Hill. Now, when I grew up, I didn't see any evidence of any individual that had legal success. So, I mean, I played sports. That's one of the things that helped me out a lot. I had big goals and big dreams, but I had no idea how to accomplish these big goals and big dreams. Um, so I got in trouble. I started in trouble as a kid. Uh, my mother had to come get me almost every other week. She had to come get me from doing something that I haven't wasn't supposed to be doing. It was like 30 or 40 of my friends. We used to hang out. I used to hang out with different people in different communities in Cherry Hill. Um, but something happened when I was about 15 years old that changed the course of my life and also a lot of my friends. We were walking from the shopping center in Cherry Hill, and one of my friends said, "Do you want to go get high?" I asked everybody, "Do we want to go get high?" What? And they said heroin. I mean, we 15 years old, and somebody had an idea for a bunch of 15-year-olds to go shoot heroin, put heroin in their arms. And I was like, man, you guys crazy. Like, I played sports. I may have got in trouble. I've done a lot of crazy, but I was not going to damage my body. So I'm the only one. It was about 10 or 15 of us walking that day. I was the only one that said no. Now they talked about me. They said all kind of crazy. I didn't give a crap about that. I knew that that's not the direction I wanted to go in. That day that I made that decision changed my entire life. I walked away and I stopped hanging with those guys that started getting high, and I started developing a different group of friends. And I had several friends. I had a group of friends that played basketball, group of friends in school, group of friends that I got in trouble with. So I had all these groups of friends that I associated with. But when I got 16 years old, I had my first son when I was 16 years old. And when I had my first son, I felt that I had to be responsible for somebody else's life. And I started thinking about all the things that I was doing, and the things that I was doing was not going to equate to making sure my son was taken care of. So once I got 17 years old, I tried to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I really started isolating myself. I really started focusing on basketball. I got kicked out of high school at 16 years. In my 11th grade year, I got kicked out of school. I missed half of school in 11th grade, but I still found a way to graduate. My 12th grade year, I really got focused. I got a part-time job. I played basketball. I stayed away from all my friends, and I just isolated myself and got into a focused mindset. I got elected to go to Cheney State University up in West
See
Philly.
you,
Yeah,
my
I
alma
went up to
mater.
Cheney. Went up to Cheney State, played ball all summer, but didn't do anything else. Didn't get my dormitory set, didn't get my, I didn't know what to do. All I did was play. So when it's time to come check in, I didn't think to go to the coach and say, hey, coach, I didn't get my dormitory set. Can you get me straight? Instead of me doing all that, I just went back to Baltimore.
Oh.
That was devastating to me. Instead, I didn't know, my mom ain't know what to do. She never been outside of Baltimore, right? So I didn't know what to do. I went home, stayed in the house for about a week, and I decided to go to the Navy. My first year in the Navy, I got in trouble almost every month. And one day the commander called me in his office. He said, if you get in trouble one more time, you're going back to Baltimore. And at that point in my life, I knew that I had to change for good. And I started focusing on reading. I started focusing on working out. I started focusing on thinking about businesses. And I started a business while I was in the Navy. I started cutting hair when I was in the Navy. I sold belts, sold watches. I had an operation on the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower. I had an operation on the ship. I was making thousands of dollars on a monthly basis, cutting hair, selling belts, selling watches that I got from Naples, Italy. So that's where the journey started. I got stationed in Indian Head, Maryland. While I was stationed in Indian Head, Maryland, I got elected to play all Navy basketball. My command stopped me from going to San Diego, California to go play. They had a ticket waiting for me at the airline. I just had to show up and go. My command canceled the request. And I never forget, I sat in front of a grown man and I cried and I said, that's the last time that any human being is going to control my life. But 2 months later, I got introduced to a financial service company called Primerica. Started part-time, started building my business with Primerica, worked hard for 7 to 10 years, saved my money. Then what I did is I took the money that I was saving because I felt that you can become a millionaire just by saving, saving, saving. This is a really important point for a lot of people that's listening.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I could become a millionaire just by saving my money. What happened is I kept getting close, and the stock market dropped. And I never forget, one day the stock market dropped and I lost over $200,000. And when the stock market dropped, I thought of all the things, this was 9/11. I thought of all the things that I could have done with that money. And at that point, I started changing my philosophy about money. I at the time that you can save your way to becoming a millionaire. You can save your way to a certain point. This is my personal opinion based on my experience, but you have to build your way to the next level. So then I started figuring out ways to utilize my money. One of the ways was buying properties. I figured if I buy properties and I can build equity in properties, that's another way for me to start accumulating more assets. Then I figured, I was running my business. I was free to do what I wanted to do, and I decided to branch off and start a construction company. I was going to just do the construction company part time here and there, make a little bit of money here and there, because I was hiring construction guys to come do stuff at my house. And then people start asking me, this looks good. Who you had to do? And I start sending them to go take it. And I said, hold up. I'm sending these people all over the place and I'm not getting paid. Let me study this industry. And I studied the industry. I got licensed. I built a construction company, starting part-time. My second year owning a construction company, I made over $1 million. At that point, I had to make a decision. So I had my guys to run and take over my financial service business while I focused on building the construction portfolio. Now, as a result of continuously making money, you get in a different tax bracket. Now, when you get in a different tax bracket, if you don't have a way of reducing your tax liability, then you're going to be, most of your money you make, you're going to wind up spending it on taxes. So I figured that I can start buying homes. I can buy homes, and the money that I invest in the homes to renovate those homes can be a tax deduction for me. So
Sure.
then I built a real estate portfolio. So I started part-time, built my way up, and every business, once I built the business and the business was running on its own, then I started branching out. I never branched out right away. I made sure I had a solid foundation. Like, I didn't start writing my book till I ran my construction company for 8 years. Then I got into writing my book. I didn't release my Succeed Anyway brand till after a year and a half that my book was published. So everything I did was very strategic, and I didn't jump straight into something without making sure the first thing was built.
Okay. I love that. So let's talk about the construction company a little bit, because I remember the highest person on your payroll. You pay some people. It's a whole lot of people whose lives have changed because of this construction company. Am I correct?
Absolutely. A lot of people have benefited as a result of me starting the construction company.
It's a really, really big deal. And you mentor and you coach in a whole bunch of areas. I was reading Succeed Anyway, and I read that, at a very early age, you knew to change your diet and to change the people that you were around. You started studying prominent figures and really coming from a place where, you didn't have a lot of role models and things like that. How did you get to that space where that was self-discipline? How did you get to a space at such a young age to start transforming, which obviously led to a lot of your success?
Well, first of all, I was the oldest boy in the family. My dad wasn't in the house, so I had to deliver for my brothers and sisters.
Mhm.
So my mom struggled. She was a single parent, barely made enough money to do anything. So I felt obligated. See, I don't know where it came from, but I felt obligated to deliver for my family. Even when I was 13 years old, I felt obligated to do that. Now, it's two things that impacted me that made me start thinking different. Number one was playing sports. My coach, Joe Gray, taught me what focus and discipline was about. Focus, discipline, hard work. He taught me what that was about. I got cut when I first tried out for basketball when I was 11 years old. And when I got cut the first time I tried that, I never, ever, ever forgot that day when I got cut. So everything that I did from that point on, I gave 190% because I was going to make sure that that never happened to me again. Not even in basketball. I'm talking about in life. So that was the first thing. The second thing is I used to watch The Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. I don't know if anybody know that show with Robin Leach. And I used to sit there, and this guy would talk about Monte Carlo. He would talk about these hotels. He would talk about caviar. They would talk about Rolls Royces. They would talk about Lamborghinis. They would talk about big yachts. And I saw all this stuff, and I was 13 and 14, and I would rush home to watch The Lifestyle of Rich and Famous, and I start feeling myself. I start seeing myself being a part of that. And those are the two things that drove me. Now, I didn't know what direction to go in to get it. So I went in the direction that I knew about at that particular time until I got to the point where I start understanding that there's another way that you can go about what you want to accomplish, and it can be a long lasting situation.
Absolutely. And indeed, it has been. Tell me a little bit about what having a money mindset means to you. Because the show we're going to be talking about getting into the money mindset for 2023, so that we can become financially free or financially independent, as we like to call it, which I know you achieved quite some time ago, the financial independence where nobody tells you where to go, what to do, how to do. There's no thumb on your income or your money. You do broadcasts from Ghana and all kinds of things. What does having a money mindset mean to you? Share with the viewers.
First of all, I believe that most people, the reason that they don't increase their income and they don't grow their businesses is because they focus on the money in terms of running their business instead of focusing on what the business or how the business can benefit others. So in running my businesses, I know it may seem strange, but I don't focus on the money part of it. I focus on the delivery, right? Can you deliver a quality product that can benefit people, right? So now,
Mhm.
once you focus on the delivery part, the second thing is you have to focus on, okay, I'm delivering a service. Now, as while I'm delivering this, this is benefiting people. Now, as I start creating revenue from my delivery, I have to take that revenue and make sure that revenue works for me so that one day I don't have to physically be anywhere to get paid. So that was my focus from day one. So now when I start making money, a money mindset was, okay, if I bring in 10 grand, let's say I made 10, I don't want to.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you, Tauheed?
50 grand in 1 month. So now I make $250,000 in 1 month. Now I need to automatically, while that money is coming in, I need to have a systematic situation where that money is being, part of that money is being invested, coming straight out of my checking accounts. Going into a portfolio, whether it's investment portfolio, various types of portfolio. I'm not going to get into the types, but some type of investment portfolio, a percentage of your money should be going there.
Paying yourself first.
That's the first thing you got to do. The second thing a person needs to do is then take a portion of that money to enhance their business. Right? So number one is you got to invest to grow your assets. Number two, enhance your business. Number three, the third thing that you do with the money is make somebody else's life better as a result of you getting paid. Is that your kids? Is that your parents? Is that your community? Right? Is that somebody in your family? Who else's life should be benefited as a result? So that's step number three. Step number four, out of this money that you have coming in, step number four should be, how can I grow myself? How can I build me? How can I be a better version of me with the fourth step of this money that's coming in?
Okay.
So money mindset conscious is having a purpose as your revenue starts to come in.
Okay. Come on now. This is what the meat and potatoes of it, right? So in chapter 2 of Succeed Anyway, you talk about the mindset development, right? And without a mindset change, money is insignificant. That just jumped out at me. A lot of the times we're chasing money, or we're going after money, or we doing this, or we got the next new thing going. But we still got some stinking thinking. We still doing some things that are counterproductive to us becoming financially successful. And I don't know if you want to just talk a little bit about the attributes, the mindset, mastering yourself, just different things like that. You seem to have done that even at 13. You seem to have kind of known who you were, and what it would take to make things happen. It seems like you spoke things, or you spoke against things. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I believe that if a person want to have true happiness in life and have a quality of life, it is very critical that they work on their thinking daily. And it doesn't have to take a long time, 30 minutes a day when you wake up, or when you go to bed at night. Now, if you don't work on your mind will wander, and your mind will take you wherever or to whatever it is hearing the most. Now, unfortunately, in this society that we live in today, most of what we're hearing is very, very negative. You hear on the news, it's negative. You turn to CNN, it's negative. You step outside, even if you live in a good neighborhood, you go down a block, 2 or 3, 4 blocks, there's something negative going on. So now, if you don't protect your thinking, everything will be a challenge for you. Even to the point when you wake up in the morning, if you wake up in the morning and if you're not excited and happy and thankful and grateful, that means that your mind is not right. And the reason the mind is not right, because we ain't working on it. So now, I remember I used to complain to God that, why am I not successful? Why am I not a millionaire when I deserve to be one? Why am I not a $500,000 earner, a millionaire when I deserve to be one? Well, God was telling me, you deserve it, but you're not ready.
Mm.
Because if he would have gave me the money when I wanted it, if he gave me all the success right up front, immediately, the way I wanted it, I wouldn't have known how to handle it. And I would have not only destroyed the money, I may have destroyed myself. So now, what am I saying to everybody here? Your time is coming. God will put everything in position when it's time for it to happen for you. Now, when it does happen for you, you're going to thank God that he delayed it a little bit so that you can get better, so that you can know how to handle money. Like, see, like a person will never know that I have money unless
Nope.
they follow me around. Like if they follow
God's
me,
honest truth.
I got some money. But you will never know because I'm not going to sit up here and say all that stuff. I'm going to do it. The reason I'm going to stay humble. The reason is I was up, down, got smacked around, got devastated. I know what it's like to struggle to get to a certain point. So I'm not going to be here, successful and then making somebody else that's not successful feel insignificant because everybody felt insignificant at one point to their own self. Right? So I had to just I had to build my way out of the mindset that I was in so that I can put myself in position to be worthy and ready for what God had in store for me. Now I am worthy and ready for, if God gave me $20 billion today, I'm worthy, I'm ready, and let's go, right? Because I put my mind in position to be prepared to handle what God had in store for me.
I love it. I love it. And something else you said was stop acting like your efforts are all because of you. You need to give thanks and praise to God for what you have, and don't ever think that it's just your efforts that are making things happen. So um I love it. Absolutely. I want to get into um a little bit more with you about the 10 attributes of leaders that become millionaires and have true success. Um, I read these and I just want you to really elaborate on it. I'm pretty sure it will touch the hearts of many. You've been doing a bang up job so far, and your humility just oozes out of the screen. So just go ahead and share that with us.
I remember this guy was he wanted to do a meeting about my book, and they asked me some questions about what do you think some of the things are that help people become successful. And I sat down and this came to me, like, what are the 10 attributes of people that I know and based off of my experience that people have that become millionaires.
I hope
And
people are taking notes because this is top notch
this,
stuff here.
this is like everything, right? Number one, having a burning desire, right? Why do you want to win? Having a burning desire creates the passion for you to get up every morning and fight when the odds seem like they're against you. See, what is the burn? See, my burning desire was I wanted to live like those people that was on television.
Absolutely.
I wanted to have a car like those people that was driving up to those hotels. I wanted to go to the restaurants. I wanted to travel like that. I felt that. That was a burning desire for me to have a quality of life. The second thing is, what is your purpose? When purpose is not known, misuse is inevitable.
Mm.
See, I had a purpose as to why I needed to win. I had to deliver for my mom. I had to deliver for my brothers and sisters. I had to deliver for I had two sons before I was 19 years old. I had to deliver for them.
Powerful.
I wanted to deliver for my community, which I'll talk about what I did as a result of that. But I had to do something for my community because they needed to know that it's people that came from where they came from that have an opportunity to win, that have won. I needed to deliver for them. So that number two is purpose. Number three is you got to have a game plan for what you want. I knew what I want. I knew what my burning desire was. I knew what my purpose was, and I had a strategic plan to get what I wanted. I knew exactly how much money I needed to save. Mm-hmm. Once I started saving money, I knew exactly my strategy or what I wanted to do to start going to the next level in my life. And I looked at my strategy daily.
Mm-hmm. That's a major key right there. Don't just talk about it and say it's in your mind. That's a mapped out plan for you to follow, a strategy that you review every day so that you can stay focused, right?
I agree 1,000%. Number four, use adversity to fuel you. When you get smacked, get up. When you get stomped, get up. If you're building a business, if your lights get turned off, put a candle on. Make some calls anyway. Man, I'm
Talk
telling
about it.
you, I'll never forget, hey, I'll never forget the day. And this is crazy. I'll never forget. It was like yesterday. You know, my son, I was building my business, running my business. And I came home one day and my son was in school, and then he came from school. So my lights got turned off in the morning. So by the time I got home, my son got off the bus, my lights were turned out, all the food in the refrigerator was spoiled.
Oh no.
Man, I barely was getting by, and I needed that food that spoiled. And I'll never forget the look in my son's eye when he saw that happen. That's the first time my son saw something happen to me that was a result of me trying to win and fighting to win. And I saw the look in his eye, and I told my son, "We're gonna win big. Don't worry about this. We're gonna win big."
So you didn't crumble and fall apart and go
No, I
cry.
ain't crying fall apart. I said, "Let's go. We're
Let's
gonna
go.
win. Don't worry about this. It's gonna happen." But my son had that look in his eye, saying, "Is it really gonna happen?" But see, I can be around my sons today, you know, and I talk about the days when I paid the price. They saw me pay the price. So adversity is a great thing to endure if you want to do something special.
Paying the price. Come on now.
Number five, don't listen to the fans in the stands.
Woo.
Let me tell you something to you. The fans in the stands don't have the guts to get on a court and play. So they sit on the sidelines and talk about the people that play. Right? When I was coming up playing basketball, it was a bunch of people sitting on the side. Man, you a bum. You can't play. I said, you want to get on? You want to get out here? You want to get out? They weren't willing to get on the court. They want to sit on the sideline, drink, and do whatever they want. But they wasn't going to get on a court and lace them up and see how tough it is out, you know, in the real world.
Right.
So even in business, people on the sidelines talking about some of you guys that want to build a business, that want to be successful, and people are talking about you right now. Why? Because they don't have the guts to play.
That's it. That is it. You got to tune all of that stuff out if you want to be successful, because it almost seems like people's biggest desire is to kill your dreams, you know, and then when you keep fighting and pushing anyway, it's like, oh, I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. I knew it. But the whole time they killed your dreams, right? Environment plays a part, right? Who they say if you hang around five broke people, you'll be the sixth. So if you
Right.
sitting around people who have stinking thinking and a mindset to say you're not going to do that, you know you're not going to do that. Those fans in the stands can really kill somebody that doesn't have a strong mindset. So especially the money mindset, you know, where you have this vision of where you're going and what you're trying to accomplish, and you let people kind of pull you down or make you feel like you can't do it. So that strength in the mind is super important.
Absolutely. I agree. Number six, leaders want to quit, but they just can't.
Mm.
Some point along your journey of building a business and being successful, you're going to want to quit. Matter of fact, you're going to want to quit 1,000 times. I wanted to quit 1,000 times. Every time, even when I played basketball, every basketball game I lost, I went home and said, I ain't playing no ball no more. I hate the thought of losing. I hated the thought of not succeeding.
Sure.
Every time I got hit with something, the first thought came, quit, quit. And then my second thought came is, if you quit, what you gonna do then? What your son's gonna say if you quit? What
Mm-hmm.
your mom gonna say if you quit? What your community gonna think about you if you quit? See, I had too many people relying on me. So quitting was a thought, but it wasn't an option.
Absolutely.
Number 7, create a mastermind alliance. And you just talked about that. You got to associate yourself with people that's going where you're going. You have to be around like-minded people. You cannot be around people that don't have goals and ambition, because if you are around those kind of people, you see, nobody is bigger than their environment. I don't care how good you are, your environment will suck you in.
Mm-hmm.
Very careful of who you're spending your time with.
Absolutely.
Number number 8. I'm sorry, you was gonna say
No,
something.
I was just agreeing with you. It's the absolute truth.
And
The
number 8.
negative people, the people who, also something in your book where you're like, don't talk about people, don't speak negative things, watch positive things, what you put in your mind, who you're talking to, who you're listening to. If the person isn't doing better than you financially, you probably shouldn't listen to them. So yeah, all of that plays a part. But go ahead.
Number 8, love life and enjoy the moments. So many people, I remember when I first started my service business, and I used to go talk to people and they'd be like, you know, man, I just want to retire. I can't wait till I retire. Then I'm gonna take a vacation. I'm gonna RV and drive around the country. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Everybody talking about what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner or later, you got to do it right now. You have to. The joy is the journey. John Maxwell said, the joy is the journey, and the journey is the joy. When I was broke, I rode around Fort Washington. That's when I thought the houses were big in Fort Washington. I'm like, these big houses is huge. I used to ride around 16th Street uptown DC. This is huge. This is unbelievable. And after I started making money, I'm like, where those houses at that I'll say was big? You know what I mean? Because
Right.
my mind changed. My mindset changed. But then when I was broke, I used to go to a place called Potomac, Maryland. When them houses still big up there. I don't care how much money I make, they still big. So anyway,
Right.
there's a place called Hunter's Inn, right? It's right in the heart, and it's like a diner, like deli, like a place that all the locals go. But when I used to go there, they used to have Mercedes Benz parked out there. They had Jaguars, they had Rolls Royces, they had Bentleys, all this stuff parked out there. And I used to drive up there. I had a lot of money, but I used to drive up there and order me a sandwich and some French fries and like something to drink. I sit there and I used to just watch these people drive. I said, you know what? I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I'm getting there. And they ain't know. I mean, I look like something's supposed to look. I was dressed pretty smooth, right? But I had no money. I had about, $30, enough to get me some food and enjoy the environment. But I always, before I got to the point where I made a lot of money, I always put myself in position to be around money, because it became embedded in my mind that this is how I supposed to live, and this is how I will live. So you have to enjoy
Absolutely.
it, guys. Don't wait till you get to a point before you start enjoying it.
How do
Number
you
9.
measure, if I could, really quickly, how do you measure? One of my biggest challenges sometimes is measuring how far I've come, or when I've hit a goal. Sometimes I'm so busy trying to get to the next part that I forget to stop and take a snapshot of the fact that I wasn't there last year. I'm here now, but I'm so busy chasing the next goal. How do you balance that? How do you take a stop and take a look at where you are? Did you freeze on us? I think he's frozen. Tauheed, can you hear us? Right. I read that comment. Be around the money. Absolutely. Surround yourself with, if that's where you're trying to go, put yourself around people who are in that space, whether it's somebody that you're, that's a mentor or somebody like that, where you need to be is around the people that are doing that, right? You don't want to go be around, we talk about the whole takeoff thing with Migos, surrounding yourself with people that's not in your tax bracket, right? So, and I'm it's no shade at going back and being with the people that you used to be around, but they don't have the values and they didn't work as hard as you worked to get to that place. So, it's nothing for them. They don't have anything to lose if they take your life, but you got everything to lose if you're positioning yourself with people in that world. So, I don't know if Tahi is back, but some of the things that I read in his book while I'm waiting for him to come back is that, like, chapter 2 just really speaks about mindset, right? The most important attribute for successful people is faith and belief in yourself, right? Believe that you can make money, believe that you can change your tax bracket, believe that you can be in a different space in 6 months, a year, 3 months. If you stop and measure where you are currently and say where you want to get, where you'd like to be, you can position yourself to get there. You got to really train your brain to get out of a space feeling like you can't. You're back. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, that was I'm by the airport, right? I live right near the airport. Most of the time, the planes come, they sometimes affect
No
the signal.
problem. But no, I was asking you about measuring the journey. How do you sometimes you when you go chasing so much, you sometimes forget to take a snapshot of where you are. So I know, um, from selling things on the ship to also becoming successful in your financial services company. How did you document the journey, so you knew how far you came?
To be honest with you, let me be honest with you. No matter how far I came, I still believe I haven't done nothing. You believe that?
I totally believe it.
Okay.
That's why I'm gonna ask you about your goals, because I know you're not done. But
Uh,
yeah.
so, but what I do is I measure like where I was a year ago or 2 years ago in different parts of my life. The way I think, the way I handle people, right? The way I approach my business, how I manage my staff. So then, and then like how much money I got saved. You gotta measure yourself. You have to measure your cash. How much money you building has to be an important part of your life, right? You got to have more money next year than you got right now, right? So I measured my progress based on how much money I was accumulating. That was a big factor. And also how I was thinking. The next thing is what I was doing, like what kind of quality of life I was having. So it was every this little things along the way, that made me feel that I was adding value to myself and other people. But to this day, I still don't see myself. I know this is wild, right? I don't see myself as successful.
I can understand. It's how you carry yourself. But you are, um, and you've changed a lot of lives. And I didn't want to. I know you had some other things to share as far as the attributes. So I'm gonna let you get back to that. But I just had that was a personal question that I had
Okay,
asked.
no problem. So number 9 is only 2 more. Number 9, use success to empower and impact the lives of others. So one thing I know about me, I don't say I'm successful, but one thing I know is that I know what I know. I know that what I've learned, that what I've been through have got me much further than I was when I started. Now, as a result of that, I believe that I have something. Now, I do believe this, that I have something that can help people. I believe that I have value that I can add to somebody else's life. I believe that my knowledge, my experience, my wisdom can add and impact other people's lives. So now, what I feel is what you've been through as an individual. Our responsibility is now how many people can we reach back, reach down, and bring up? How many now? I know for a fact, this is something I do know, that I have impacted a lot of people's lives. I know for a fact that there's people making $300,000, $400,000, $600,000 that I had a hand in assisting them in taking their life to the next. I know that for a fact because I'm willing to give the knowledge and the blessings that God has bestowed upon me. And if we're willing to give that to other people, then God will continue to bless us.
Come
Does that
on.
make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. And you've done that in your community where you're going back and you're rebuilding and making things better for your community. One brick at a time. So not to mention all the people, like you said, that you've helped to make $500,000, $600,000, maybe even more. Whether it was in construction or whether it was in your financial services business, that give back, the laws of reciprocity, and how when you give, you get even more, right?
Absolutely. And the number 10 thing on the list is knowing that the Creator has your back, believing in a higher power. Most people always say, they say this most of the time, that successful people, they got there by taking advantage of other people. And that's a bunch of biggest lie I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. Most good people, most people that's successful, a lot of them are good people. They are good people, and what they do is they have strong faith in a higher power. I don't believe you can have success and lasting success without knowing that God has your back and without you believing that the reason that you're successful is because God's imprint or his impact within you.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. And I think that that's a perfect way to end the attributes, Now I want to ask you, what are you working on? What's your goals? I know you got some things cooking. I know your mind is ever working. I know you have some mindset things that you're working on. I know that you still got goals. Like you said, you don't even necessarily feel successful. What are you working on?
Well, that is a good question. First thing is we created a Hall of Fame for my community, Cherry Hill in Baltimore. We started in 2012. When I launched it, when we launched it, um, one of the goals was to house that Hall of Fame in a facility. Well, they built a facility in my community a year and a half ago. I just found out that they built a facility about 3 months ago. When I found out they built a facility, I reached out to people in my community. They reached out to the governor, they reached out to council people, and they scheduled a meeting. We convinced the council members, the governor, and the director of Parks and Recreation in Baltimore City to allow us to house the Hall of Fame in that 15,000 square foot facilities. So when somebody walk in that facility, they will see the sculptures of people that have grew up in their community and had an impact on their community. It's never been done. No Hall of Fame has ever been done in any community in America. So that's, to me, that's like That's something that is very, very important to me. It's important to our community. It's important to communities throughout America that this have happened in a minority community, and minorities are the ones that made it happen. So that's one thing. Number two, I have another book. It's already basically finished published. It's called The Book of Quotes for Entrepreneurs' Daily Living.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, Succeed Anyway brand. I want it, and it will be an international brand. That is my, like, that's my, like, you know, when I say you can run several businesses at one time, but you can only build one business at a time, right? So I don't need to build my construction company, right? I don't need to build my financial service company. I don't need to build anymore with real estate. I can run those businesses, and those businesses can grow.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to build Succeed Anyway brand, because I believe when a person look in the mirror and they got Succeed Anyway on their chest, where a woman, male, female, whatever it is, and they see that Succeed Anyway on their chest, see, that gives them a different type of feeling.
That's an affirmation in itself.
Exactly. They could be going through whatever in life, and they see that Succeed Anyway. I'm telling you, the vision is that there will be athletes wearing Succeed Anyway. There'll be entertainers wearing Succeed Anyway. There will be politicians wearing Succeed Anyway. It will be an international brand. And not because I want to make more money, but because I believe that it can impact somebody's life.
Well, I'm gonna let you kind of talk a little bit more about Succeed Anyway. We got some time. Um, Talk a little bit about what inspired the book. And we can see that it's turning into a brand. I done voted on T-shirts and colors and all kinds of things. Talk about where the concept for the book came. Like, what is it that drove you? You could talk about the process a little bit, and you've already shared the vision for it, but what made you step into that arena to write a book?
Um, I always wanted to write a book. I said one day I'm gonna write a book, but I thought I was gonna write a book about my childhood.
Okay.
Right? And I always say when we write a book, I'm gonna write a book. And I started writing a book, and I lost the pages and all that stuff, right? So I didn't know what happened to it. And when I was in San Diego, California in 2019, I woke up one morning. It was on Christmas, and I always get away during the holidays to get my mind right. And I said, "What's the next thing you want to do in life? Like, what do you want to do next? What's something that can like drive you?" And I said, "I know what can drive me. I can write something about what it took to be successful and teach it to kids in high school, teach it to kids in college. I can give it to the
It
people in
is
the
a manual.
military."
It's a manual. It's definitely a manual, a how to. And it's in terms, it ain't puffed up. It's just real. Your humility, like I said, speaks all through the book. Your desire to give back and stuff like that. So, I love the book.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you. Um, Really quickly, we're gonna be coming to a close. You gave your 10 attributes. Close us out with um with some money mindset things. Leave us with a charge.
Well, I would say, don't be afraid to think big.
Absolutely.
What you think is big will be small one day. Um, be conscious of where you want to go and what you want to do and what you want to become. Be driven by something bigger than you. Uh, Live your life with a purpose. Understand that people need you. They're counting on you, even though they may not say it. But the only way you get people to listen to you is to have some money, unfortunately. You have to get some money. You get money, people listen. Without money, you just talking. People not listening. Get your money right. Get financially sound. Build something. Build assets. Have assets. Have money working for you without you working for money.
Come on now.
Get yourself to a point in life where you can be anywhere in the world and your checks keep coming in. Get yourself in the point in this world where you have situations where you have money just like ding, 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 every single day coming to you. Use the power of the law of attraction where you attract what you want to become, where you attract what you want to accumulate, where you attract the right kind of people in your life. Don't be afraid to let some people go so that you can grow.
Woo.
Don't be afraid to let them go, because if you don't let them go, you're going to stay exactly where they are. So I would say to everybody that's listening, if I can do it, if I can come from where I came from, if I can struggle the way I struggled it, I am not, look, I don't talk, I don't have no elegant conversation, I don't use elegant words, I don't own a tie, like I'm not gonna dress up in no suit and come talk to you about, professionalism. I ain't gonna do none of that, but one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll up my sleeves, I'm gonna go in, and I'm gonna live the American dream. Thank you so much for your time.
My Lord, you just dropped the mic in every way. I got hot over here. Like, that was amazing. And you absolutely gave us a charge. I'm fired up. I'm ready to turn the computer off right now and go get some things done. But Tauheed, again, I am humbled and I am more than honored that you were willing to spend some time with CMP Radio and with myself. The charge and the passion for the radio station is to help people to succeed anyway, to get to another level as it pertains to their money. This show was requested, and to have you on here and to drop these nuggets the way that you just did, if you're not fired up, something's wrong. Check your temperature. But you just got us pumped up and excited, and I cannot thank you enough for coming on here to share what you shared with us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the time.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So tune into next week, you all. We're going to be having a tax talk with Michelle Lovey Robinson of Lovey's Financial Services to get you right with the new tax laws, with deductions and how to and what to do with your taxes. She's got over 30 years of experience, and she's just going to be sharing from the heart, answering your questions if you have questions. But we're going to continue down this journey to create financially independent individuals in our community. And it starts with the mindset. So that's why I wanted to kick it off, so that while we're on this journey, you can remember the things that Tauheed said. Go out and buy the book. If you didn't buy the book, if you haven't bought the book, go out and buy the book. It is a manual. It is a how-to. It is not a long book, but it is a powerful book. Go out and buy Succeed Anyway. Go buy a hoodie or whatever the case may be. But it is an affirmation in itself. So I will let you all go. I thank you for allowing me in your living room or wherever you're tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you again, Tauheed.
Thank you so much.
CMPRadio.net, it's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate together, man.